Hello everyone, my name is Arglen, and welcome to the first installment of LineWriter Tech, a series where I'll be discussing different tricks and quirk in LineWriter. The series will be used to show discoveries in the LineWriter community, including how they work, their applications, and more. Note that this isn't intended to be a tutorial on tricks, rather this is an attempt to dig into the mechanics behind those tricks. Today's topic is the pseudo-singularity. The pseudo-singularity was discovered by me very recently, on September 7th of 2019. As a result, it still doesn't really have an official name. I personally called them pseudo-singularities, but a few names were suggested. Fake singularity, fakularity, angled singularity, p-sings, f-sings, and also one in particular that I can't seem to remember. But what could it possibly be? Well, many of you may be asking, what is it? Well, a normal singularity has all the textures pointed to the right. This is because when all the contact points are forced into the exact same position, the textures of the rider all line up towards the right. However, in a pseudo-singularity, that isn't always the case. So what are its applications? Well, there isn't much more I've learned about them as of this video being released, though I'll probably slot them in a future video if new things on it are uncovered. I'm also currently the only one to have made a pseudo-singularity as I know of, but it's actually pretty simple to make, so let me lead you through the process of how I made mine. I was originally playing around with angled singularities, which is this, not the pseudo-singularity that I'm making that isn't at an angle, but just to break up any confusion. And I thought, if these positions that I'm getting in the first iteration, which by the way is how most singularities are made, isn't survivable in the next iteration, could they survive if I put them through a 6 iteration trick? Now, if you're confused with what I just said there, no need to worry about it. I'll explain what both of those are in far more detail in separate videos. For now, all you need to know is that a frame in the game is broken down into 6 iteration frames, and each iteration tests the rider on whether he'll survive. This is the core to telling the game whether the rider stays on or falls off the sled. And it works most of the time. Put short, the final iteration doesn't get checked until the next frame, which usually leads to different and usually more interesting results. Unlike regular singularities, pseudo-singularities don't need to rely on stability because they're made in the final iteration and the game renders only the final iteration of each frame. Here's a breakdown of the one that I made. So here that I circled here, I use these two lines just to readjust the contact points throughout the first 5 iterations, so then I can pull the contact points on the final iteration a lot better and a lot more easily. Now over here, I create an X out of two 45-degree angled lines, where eventually all the contact points will converge. And the rest of the lines are just pretty much used to push all the contact points into that conversion area. I used 45 angled lines for this one, and as a result, I got one of the 45-degree angled pseudo-singularities. I do suspect there are others, though I'm not 100% sure, because again, this is the first one to ever exist. So now that it's made, what can you do with it? Unfortunately, with the method I'm using, the only way to actually accelerate Bosch using the pulling out method, which is like what I'm showing you here in a regular singularity, only works with multipliers. Multilining just does not work. It's very much broken. I did, however, find some really bizarre effects and characteristics of pulling Bosch out with a line. When I pulled Bosch horizontally, it didn't only give me a nice curved image, though to be fair, all of them are, but it actually seems to be the most stable. Because when you move the line around, I have no random death frames in the process. Although one of the 45-degree angled pull-out lines pretty much had the same characteristics as for basically all the other survivable angles, that had like the occasional death frames, as I said earlier, the other 45-degree angle is actually quite a bit more fascinating. Here are a couple screenshots that I actually managed to grab. Yeah, they're weird, to say the least. I have no idea whether this characteristic works for other differently angled pseudo-singularities. They is still young for this weird trick, and only time will tell how much crazier this can actually get. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this first episode in the series. I'm planning to make more in the future, though these types of videos are going to be pretty tedious to do, so they won't be very often. As you can see, I have a couple of character stills, and these were actually created by my friend Spitfire, so credits to her. Please check out our channel, she's incredible. If you enjoyed this video, press the like button, and subscribe if you're new or haven't already. It would be very much greatly appreciated. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me for whenever I release new work. But anyways, this has been Arlen, and have a great day.